Morning, friends. I'm heading out to the barn in a minute here to work on the next phase of lawnmower maintenance. It's probably about time I got around to that. It's only the middle of November. Today we are going to try to tackle changing the hydraulic fluid, the juice that makes the lever arms go so you can drive the thing. If you're new here, about a year ago, I started a quest to figure out what was wrong with my lawnmower, my bad boy ZT Elite zero-turn riding mower. It wouldn't start. And then it turned into a quest to learn how to do all of the maintenance to the lawnmower on my own. So I will link those videos at the end, so you can check them out if you want to. Okay, I just finished turning the mower around so I could get a little more light on the back end. And I'm going to let it cool down for a couple of minutes because nobody wants to touch hot fluids. Safety first, always safety. Safety number one out here, okay? Be safe, don't touch hot oil. So while it's chilling, I will take a moment to tell you that there is actually a really, really good video on this maintenance already on the YouTube. I think the channel's name is Pawpaw's Place. I'll find it again and I'll link it in the description box. And he does just a really great job explaining everything step by step and then showing you everything. So why, if this phenomenal video already exists, why are we here today? Well, number one, I got bored on a Sunday. Number two, representation, I suppose. As usual, in this kind of an area, all of the videos I've found of people fixing lawnmowers are all done by older gentlemen. You know, nobody looks like me. And I was kind of thinking that if I had known lady mechanics existed when I was a child, it might not have taken me to my 30s to learn how to do things for myself. So, if you have delicate wrists and nimble fingers, this one's for you. Starting at the back of the mower and swooping down underneath of it. See these two big gray things on either side? Whoops. This big gray thing. One on the left and there's one on the right too. Big gray thing. Those are the transaxles. And those little things underneath of them that say hydro gear. These guys. Those are filter covers and they need to come off. So that is just a, what's this? 3/8 socket. Looks like there's one bolt up here at the front. I've already started, and then kind of gotta feel it. There's one more right back here. That was fast. I can't get the filters off. They're only supposed to be like half a turn past hand tight, just like every other oil filter in the world, you know? So I think maybe just they haven't been done and they're all grody and crusted up with dirt or something. Or somebody, you know, fucking over-tightened them. I gotta go grocery shopping anyway, so I'm gonna run into town and see if I can find one of those dumb little, the filter wrenches, the little plastic thing. Play with that. Also, the irony of my opening statement is not lost on me. If you've got small, delicate hands. Yes. We can still do the thing. We just need to do it a different way. Blech. Ew. Blech. Yay! We did it. Ugh, there's like chunks of stuff up in there. God damn. Okay, I'm gonna let that one drain for a little bit. I'll go make me a sandwich. I'll come back and do the other one. While the second one's draining, I'm just going to clean up all my drips. Get any grunge up out of there. And then I'm going to take a fingerful of good clean oil, run it around the gasket, pop it back up in there, and tighten it. Hey, for comparison's sake, this is good, clean, new oil. This is supposed to be done every 250 hours. My mower had it came with a broken tachometer, so I'm not sure how long it was running before I got it, but I know I've used it at least 2 years. I was kind of assuming that it was overdue for this, and it looks like I'm right. That's about all it needs. Good. The manual says to put the filter covers back on at this point, but I'm going to leave them off until I run it. Peek under here, make sure nothing's leaking. Using the old beam. Now that the old oil is out and the new filters are in, gotta put in our new clean oil. 2 things need to come out to accomplish this. Number 1, we're gonna scooch forward and then roll. So it's like you're laying on the floor of the barn. You're looking up at the transaxle right now. Big gray thing. Where is it at? That little bolt up there, that is your top port fill plug, and that needs to come out. That's how we're going to measure how much oil is going into the case. I'm going to put you down so I can actually do it, but it's just going to be a wrench. This next one is already turning out to be a pain in the ass. If you're looking at the back of the mower, having lifted up the seat so you can access everything that's underneath of it, on either side of the engine, see those holes? There's a hole here, hole over there, deep down in the hole. On the right side, if you move the belt out of the way, see that bolt? That is your fill port plug. You pull that out, and that's where you actually funnel oil into the case. So over here we have a belt in the way. Scooch into the left side. There's no belt over here, but there's all this cabling that I gotta get around. Also, I thought this was 1 inch. Now I'm not so sure. So I'm at a stopping point for today. Gotta get a smaller socket. I already tried to crawl up underneath of there and see if I could just hit it with a wrench from underneath, and that's not happening ever. There's no way. So I gotta go back to the Lowe's, which will not be today because We live a half hour outside of town, and I'm not doing it. I will see you another day. Bye. So it's not an inch, and it's also not 15/16, and it's also not 7/8, and it's also not 13/16, and it's also not 3/4. Like, I have a whole bag of sockets here, and somehow none of them are doing anything to the like, nothing is catching. Nothing is the right size. I don't know what magical in-between size this is. Everything else on here is standard American. I don't think they'd make 1 bolt metric for no reason. So I'm very confused, and I can't get the damn thing off. But there may be another way. What do the rednecks say? If it's stupid and it works, it isn't stupid. I've been getting all my parts for these projects from badboymowerparts.com. And as I was shopping for, the oil and the filters and stuff, I found it was cheaper, a little bit cheaper, to just get what they call their service kit, where they put the oil and the filters together in a box for you. With the service kit, you get handy dandy tubamajigs. These are supposed to be, they're supposed to go in the top port, the one I can't get open, because they know that you can't get a standard funnel up in there in the space you have in the mower. So you're supposed to have one end of the tube in a bottle of oil and the other end of the tube in the top plug. But I'm just going to see if I can't loop it through the side. This is either going to go really good or really bad. Stay tuned. This stuff's real viscous. Means it's taken forever. Never again. I was so wrong. Never again. It's like half a quart. It's taken 20 minutes. But it's working. Whew, finally. All right, it has started leaking out of its, port here, which is what we were looking for from the beginning. That's good, it means it's full. It took almost 2 quarts of oil, just like the manual said it would. So now I'm going to, tidy up a little bit more. Tidy up, reinstall, scooch this plug, reinstall the plug. And then I'm going to torque it to, I gotta check again, I think it's 65 inch-pounds. Yay! Old stuff's out, new stuff's in, almost done. Now we need to purge the system to get out all of the air bubbles. As you're pumping the oil in, you can watch air bubbles flowing through the tube, especially when you get down to the bottom of the container of new oil. And that's not good for the mower. We don't want that, so we need to push all the air bubbles up and out through the built-in vent on the top of the transaxle. To do that, we're going to jack the mower up and then work the lever arms. Hi. I ran out of daylight, which happens at like 4 p.m. nowadays. It is now raining and cold and yucky. So let's hurry up and finish this thing. If you look at the back of the mower, on either side of the engine block, down at the bottom of the guard, you'll find 1, that little silver nub sticking out, 1, and 2 neutral bypass rods. These are held in place underneath with just a little cotter pin, and if you pull them out, you can disengage the transmission and basically put the mower into neutral. Looking at the same exact thing, but from a different angle up under the back of the mower, I got 1 neutral bypass rod, 2 neutral bypass rods, and all I'm going to do is pull out the little cotter pin that's behind them, pull it all the way out until it stops, and then I might need 2 hands. Well, pin it back in place. Boop. It's not going anywhere. I'm going to do that to both sides. If I'm understanding this right, and I might not be, I'm not a mechanic, in case you can't tell. I'm not a mechanic. But I Googled a little bit, trying to understand what was going on inside of the transaxle. And so if I'm getting this right, then that little lever that moves at the end of the neutral bypass rod closes a valve up inside of it. And instead of fluid flowing between the pump and the little motor that works actually turns the wheels, it loops back around on itself. And so you disengage the engine from the wheels, basically. Whatever pressure from the fluid of you moving the arms would have normally gone into that little motor that turns the shaft and moves the wheels. It's not going to go there. And so if I take the parking brake off right now, I can push the mower. The pressure that's up inside the transaxles isn't working against me as a brake. And so I can, it's in neutral. You can push it. I am kind of puny, so I can't push it very far, but it'll go. I think the reason we do this during this procedure, and I would, if you're a mechanic or an engineer or someone who just knows engines, and please leave me a comment. Help. Please leave me a comment. I think, based on what I have Frankensteined together from different internet posts and videos, is that we jack the mower up at the back end because we need whatever air we bleed out to get to a specific point in the system so it can exit through the vent. And while we're jacked up, we're moving the arms so the fluid works its way through all the piping. But if we have it jacked up and we're moving the wheels, and it's not going anywhere, a pressure builds up, like a reverse pressure builds up inside of the transaxle that can damage the shaft to the engine, I think. And so that's why we kind of take the wheels out of the equation, so we're not doing that. Now, as for actually getting this thing up off the ground, I've seen different people do it different ways. I've seen people jack it up. I've seen people back it onto a couple of 2x4s. And I've seen some people do this just flat on the ground, no problems. Believe it or not, I try to follow directions when I can. So the manual says to jack up the back end. It doesn't say how high. It does say not to mow on inclines of greater than 15 degrees. So we're going to eyeball it. I don't actually have a jack or a lift or anything for a lawnmower. I have a jack for my car, which is significantly heavier than the lawnmower. So we're going to give it the old college try. Cross your fingers. Obligatory safety statement. You really should not use jacks that are not designed for the machines you're lifting. But the theme of the day is improvisation. It's cold on the floor of the barn. It's cold on the floor of the barn. Do, cold on the floor of the barn. Don't want to be here doing this. Cold on the floor of the barn. I don't have high hopes. No, that's all she wrote. I really don't have a better place to put this. There's another, like right here where the rods are, there's another solid piece of chassis, but the belt's in the way. Because I don't want the jack near the belt. So, we'll try it flat and just see how it sounds. Okay, we're gonna turn it on, release the parking brake, and then push the levers just forward and back, maybe 10 times. See if it starts to sound smoother and move smoother. I need an adult. I'm either fundamentally misunderstanding how the neutral bypass works, I think that's it, or no, I know my neutral bypass is not broken because I pushed the thing. So I think I just don't understand how it works. I think I got it backwards somehow. Please send help. But on the plus side, that seemed to do what it was supposed to do. The first couple passes were real squeaky sounding, not squeaky, but like creaky sounding. The next couple got a little better, and the last few were almost normal. So what I'm going to do now is let it cool down for a little bit and recheck the fluid levels, make sure our tank's still full up. And I'm going to repeat what I just did to make sure I'm bleeding that air out. And then we'll go from there. We'll see if it needs it a third time. Oh, there it goes. Ew. Ew. What? Righty-tighty. Click goes the wrench. There we go. I had to kind of feel around in the back to find this one, and I wasn't getting it, so creep around sideways on the floor, I guess. Damn things are rusty. No! What is that? Do it again. Trip again. Oh, you're just the extra. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Don't ask. Okay. Topped off the oil. Torqued the plugs. Put the filter covers back on. Torque those little bolts. And now I'm putting the neutral bypass rods back where they belong. So fully pushed in, and then the cotter pin on the inside. Now I'm gonna park the mower. Okay, that was for sure not how it was supposed to go, but it did go. I just drove it around a little bit, back and forth, did a couple of donuts. The left arm was making kind of a squeaking noise, but as I moved it through a couple more turns, it got less and less. It's moving smoothly, like it's driving smoothly. So I think I'll just keep an eye on it. I can always come back and do this again if I need to. I think that's it. Time to clean up. Thank you for hanging out with me during this dumpster fire of a maintenance video. This perfect example of what not to do to your zero-turn riding lawnmower. Anyway, I love it when you guys do stop by. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.